Well, happy Saturday morning, everyone. It's a nice, pleasant start to the day. I think it might get hot once again. Last night we did our YouTube broadcast of the Chambers Academy football team, and it was a little steamy out at the park, I guess in the high 80s, maybe even 90 as we got there. A little bit more pleasant here at Blue Sky Farm this morning. We'll walk over and show you where we've been working this past week. You can see that the field that we transitioned there into the sun. Sorry about that. It's where the corn field was, and it's nicely mowed now. Bush hogged all that down. We'll figure out what we're going to do. May plant beans there next year, just not sure. And one other thing, if you remember, right around the corner there, just past that pinkish volcano bush, was my volunteer watermelon patch. We just came up with a giant watermelon out of there. One I guess I had missed. Really pretty melon, so hopefully we'll be able to get that last one out of it. Over here, we just never seem to come over on this side. I like this little corner, and I like the place right behind it. That's a nice little courtyard that we're going to do some work on and put a sail in. I guess roses actually do like dry weather. These two, I think these two rose bushes were $2 a piece at Tractor Supply, and they are just coming right along fine. Looks like a little bit of a deal there. But this side of the house really looks nice. The wet weather, you can see from this grass here. I don't know this type grass. It is just like a carpet. And you can see at the end of that run there, a little bank that drops off where the typical yard weeds take over. And same story over on the other side, out by that new bed. The grass basically does exactly the same thing. Really a thick layer of carpeted grass, and then a little bit more of just yard weed grass. But maybe it'll keep on taking over and everything will work out well. I wanted to show everyone here on this magnolia. You can see where all the new growth is starting to come out. I don't really know a lot about how the magnolia tree works out. All we ever did was call these hand grenades, because that's what they look like to us as kids. But these are seed pods, I guess, and they certainly cover up the ground in the fall. But this tree, as old as it is and as big as it is, still looks pretty darn healthy. Very thick. We've trimmed it a little bit. A couple of limbs that were a little suspicious, but mainly just left it alone. Not really sure what's going on with this bush. Get you in here close. This bush is just a thorn bush. It'll eat you alive if you get too close to it. And you can see how unhealthy it really is. I don't know what's going on. It was probably the better of the two. Let me swing over here and show you the other one. This is the exact same bush. As a matter of fact, these two were planted together. When we first came here, I just pulled them up, took them apart, and moved the second half, almost exactly half, here to this location. It's got good mulch. I have been watering it, but I don't know, maybe these things just wear out over time. Maybe its time has come. It's just strange that the other one's doing so much better. I want to take a minute and walk you out. There's, of course, my favorite Japanese maple, just because it's so weird. It's going in a lot of different directions, but it's starting to get that color change there. And I think that's a pecan tree growing at the base of it. We'll have to figure that problem out later. My new addition pecan tree hanging in there pretty well. Just about ready to start losing some leaves. And just down that fence row, you may be able to make out that crepe myrtle in the very far corner. It's starting to really take off, get some blooms on it. And along that fence line, right about where those big posts are, I have a couple of other crepe myrtles. And I have one here by this corner post. Cannot get them to grow. They're just really weak. They get the same fertilizer, they get the same water as everything else, so I think it has to be the dirt. We'll work on that. And here's my new bed, new flower bed. These bushes, I'll look this up later on. I don't know what it is right now. I think it's a part of the same plants we have over by the limelights. Volcano bush beside us, starting to grow and produce. But this bush has grown probably 10 times the size it was. Little butterfly bush is coming along. The variegated, I don't know what they are, variegated something or other. And a butterfly bush that just, it's deader than Abe Lincoln. So it'll be that way, I guess. Here's another example of that really pretty purple and green plant that these were volunteers. Found them in the backyard, so you know me, I don't like to buy stuff, so I put them out here in the bed and they just exploded with this nice potting soil around them. And one more volcano bush is trying to get established. Really like this little bed, and it's doing really nice, especially with no rain. Here at the front entrance, I'm getting pressure from the boss. She's not a big fan of Nandinas. And these are old and they just don't seem to do very much. But I guarantee it'll take the tractor to get them out. There's a root system that goes about 20 feet from here. And that might be a real chore. There are Nandinas on both sides of the drive. These are a little bit healthier. We want to try to figure out something to do to this bed. It's a little blah with nothing more than the, the Nandinas, a little mulch, and we need to get something of color in there and get it to pop a little bit. I'm going to give you this shot down that fence line. Maybe over the winter, we're going to extend the fence from that big post you see there out here into this driveway. And then we're going to extend the fence. This will be like a 3-board, maybe some people call 3-rail fence. It'll come from that post to this point. We'll bring it to this column, cut it back behind this column, and we'll put a gate right off the taller column. Will be a solar power gate that'll swing back toward the house. We're going to get the fence up here in the front yard sooner or later. You can see the stakes around the pecan trees that we've added. All the crepe myrtles that we just, those are twigs that were broken off. You can see one there in the corner. See one there in the middle. And then 2 pretty large ones. Those were just twigs. You just break them off. Sometimes I soak them overnight to make sure they get nice and soft and trick them into thinking they're going to be okay. And then you just dig a nice hole, loosen up the dirt a little bit, and stick them in the ground. Hit them with water a couple times and they do fine. But it's free, you just break off a limb and you try to get it started and go from there. It's probably a 25-30% success rate. All it takes is just a couple minutes. I like this view back here across the front yard with these lime lights. Even though they're fading away, the 2 Japanese maples are both I like very much, very nice. This limelight in the corner is starting to fade out. And I can't get that rose. Maybe it just doesn't get enough light. You see it in the back there. It seems to struggle in that corner. Maybe it's too damp. Because these 2 on the wing here, they get no water. And they seem to be okay. Who knows? Who knows how that works out? 2 bushes you see straight ahead that are just bloom laden are volcano bushes. We've had those at every house we've had except the Chicago house for the last 25 years. some sort of lily. I don't think that's a canna. I don't know what it is, but I like it because it's nice and pretty being a different color. And believe it or not, I have another tomato. I would guess the skin of that tomato is about like shoe leather. But this tomato vine, now that it's September, has decided to look healthy. You can tell I pulled everything else up. The eggplant are not all that great, but we'll try to pick them and see what goes on. The close-in garden, as we call it, I've already bush hogged it down. It failed miserably this year, just didn't do anything. So got to do a little soil prep, try to get that one up to speed. Get you a little closer here and let you see this butterfly bush. Excuse me, this volcano bush. See the bees hitting those blooms. And it's hot and it's dry and they are just going to town. So I don't understand it, and that's okay. More of the same. Our volunteer walnut tree, that you see right there. Really like that. Glad it's here. I talked about taking out these two big volcano bushes, but once again I was vetoed. My wife says they look just fine, leave them alone. So that's what we'll do. It'd take me a day to dig each one of them up. And our butterfly bushes, as I stand here amongst them, are doing quite well. I think that might be a dogwood? No, too many spikes on it. I guess that's a hawthorn tree that I put out there. We have so many things I stick in the ground all the time, I forget what they are. Dirt must be bad over here. I've never seen a grapevine that didn't grow like crazy in the country. These two, really bad. You can see my really terrible grape arbor with just, those are cables that were left over from a power line that got knocked down. And yes, I use the posts, and I'm trying to use the wire, so scavenger Sid at it again. If you remember this butterfly bush, this is a strange story. This is the tree, this is the butterfly bush that tree, if you remember at the birthday party, it broke apart and fell right onto this bush. Missed the shed pump house by 6 inches, crushed that bush. Wendy trimmed it up and man, it looks spectacular. The pink roses over here by our little arbor and the dogwood are just, excuse me, magnificent. What do we think that was? We call that purple plant, maybe Rulia. They are incredible. Love them very much. And one other thing there, if you see that rose bush, I have just ignored it. I think that's the best thing for me to do is ignore a lot of these things. They just do better with me staying away from them. And the Brazilian butterfly bush is about 15 feet tall now. Crab apples are ready to hit the ground. A couple of quince have already fallen down. But overall, considering how dry it is, we're doing okay. It's just that time of the year. You can see that the pool is down a good 8-10 inches. We are not going to run the well dry trying to fill the pool. It'll just be what it will be. It's clean, it's clear, we can swim in it. Good enough. But that's just a quick walk around here on this Saturday morning. I didn't spend an awful lot of time out in the yards this week. A little mowing as we come into the next week, and we'll get that squared away and get everything cleaned up for the fall season. But until we come back again, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, we'll get out and film a little bit of the yard work or the field work that we do. One other thing, let me show you real quick. I did get rid of the miserably failed bucket garden. We got exactly nothing out of that dozen buckets. That's right, 0. Not a tomato, not zucchini, not squash, just nothing. So at least I've been fairly consistent at gardening this year. All right, that'll do it for this week. Like I said, we'll come back later on if we get anything interesting going on. And we'll close out today with a beautiful shot of the zinnias, as I'm told. I'm pronouncing it's not zinnias, it's zinnias. I love them because I just threw them on the ground and they grew. Everybody take care. Have a great week, and we will see you again soon.